Han Solo, you know him, he's a smuggler. It's top 10 famous smugglers in history, baby. Here we go. Number 10, Canada. What? When you clicked on this video, I bet you weren't expecting the Great White North to be expert smugglers, did you? Well, truth be told, even as a Canadian, neither did I. But the history here is kind of interesting, so strap in, folks. Okay, so Prohibition. No more production and sale of alcohol in America. Canada, as America's little brother, followed suit. However, Canada's laws were not as strict. While consuming and production of alcohol was banned from bars, it was still legal for medicinal, religious, and really every other reason you need a bottle of whiskey for. However, the most important point was that in Canada, the export of alcohol was still allowed. So literally, bootleggers, outlaws, crooks, and a lot of thirsty folks flocked to places like Montreal, where a lot of the stricter laws were just repealed. This also meant that the flock of unsavory characters could just load up a boat full of liquid courage, and there wasn't really anything the law could do to stop them, even though they knew what and where it was going to. American speakeasies and dry places on the American side. Kinda interesting. Good old Canada. Look at that. Canada supplying your booze. Love that. Love that for you. Number 9, Dutch Schultz. Oh, come on, Dutch. I know you need your money to get to Tahiti, but you're bootlegging Dutch. And by the way, Mike is a rat, Dutch. Anyway, haven't busted out the Arthur Morgan impression in a while, but here we are. Originally named Arthur Fliegenheimer. Truth be told, I would change my name too, because you can't be a successful smuggler with that kind of alias. The man smuggled his way to wealth and fame and was more violent than you care to know. Seriously, some of the stuff I can't even talk about. A known racketeer, smuggler, and shyster. He was eventually betrayed and he perished. I believe the saying, live by the blam blam, perish by the blam blam, yeah, that applies here. Number 8, JFK Senior. Some may be surprised to know this, and others will understand this as very on brand for the Kennedy family, but they weren't exactly the squeaky clean all-American family you think they were. Never mind the numerous scandals and tragic life-losing accidents, the Kennedy fortune was something made in moonlight, i.e. illegally. Old man Kennedy made his fortune with bootleggers and well-known Italian mobsters during Prohibition in the 20s and the 30s. Yes, the Kennedy family has its ties in La Cosa Nostra. Or that doesn't exist if you ask Tony Soprano, depends who you ask. While this information wasn't the best kept secret, his connections with the mob made him very, very wealthy and powerful, and just may have had a hand in getting his son elected to presidency in the 1960s. Maybe, but I'll never tell, we'll never know. Number 7, Nascar. Shout out to the southern states. There's a stock car track not too far from me which usually brings out a good crowd. Well, why in the heck am I bringing that up? Well, that's because NASCAR has its roots in moonshine runners, which is a fancy schmancy term for rednecks who distill illegal high-proof alcohol in secluded forested areas while under the supervision of moonlight. Ooh, scandalous. The early NASCAR legends may or may not have gotten their start during the late-night shine runs. I'm not gonna, I'll never know. We'll never know. Oh, maybe, possibly. They did. I don't know what's more impressive, trying to boil corn down in the woods to make alcohol without hurting yourself or evading the law at top speeds on dirt roads. It's kind of impressive, actually. And the whole boiling process, it's hard. You ever looked that up, Chris? It's hard. Not that I would know, because I'm not a moonshiner. I wouldn't know. Number 6, Arnold Rothstein, crime lord of the Jewish American gangster underground, considered to be the smartest of all bootleggers. Ooh, what an honor. Sure, maybe he was the smartest. I mean, I'd personally just like to argue it's hard to catch any of these guys when there's so many to catch in the first place, but okay. After importing a lot of his alcohol from the very wet UK, and that's not a rain joke, they just had a lot of booze, he began spending his time diversifying into illegal sports betting and manipulation. Black Sox fans may recall the 1919 Black Sox scandal. Ooh, scandals, he manipulated the whole game. Eventually, like most gangsters, smugglers, and naughty people of the time, he caught a couple slugs to the body, and well, that was picture wrap for him. Don't be messing with the sports in a baseball and all that. Don't be messing with that. Number 5, Barry Seal. This guy lived the life of a man. Barry Seal was your average airline pilot in the 80s, but of course it was the 1980s. Man, I missed out. And he found himself in a very unique position. He was smuggling jungle sugar for the infamous Medellin cartel. Barry at one point was being paid $500,000 a flight and taking with him tons and tons of snowflake emoji, you know what I'm talking about. Well, eventually the DEA caught up with poor Barry and he became an informant for them. At his peak, the man was involved with the cartel, the DEA, and even a CIA investigation involving a Panamanian dictator. Ooh, crazy. That's, wow. Sadly for Barry, after testifying, the cartel found out, and then he ended up on the cartel's bad side, which means he's not around anymore. That's the best way to put it. He's sleeping with the fishes, if you know what I'm saying. Number 4, Meyer Lansky. Yet another Prohibition-era smuggler and crook, and a friend and associate of Lucky Luciano and other less than reputable Italian organized gentlemen, if you know what I'm saying. To the cops, it was the legitimate businessman's club. To everyone else, he was a ruthless criminal and responsible for smuggling all sorts of illicit products over the border. So, what makes him so great? Why is he on the list? He's just like every other gangster, right? Well, that's because, like many other of his associates and business partners, he didn't perish. He lived a rather long life. Especially for someone in his field, you really don't make it out that long. Making it all the way until 80 years old. And it was lung cancer that took him out, not a gangster. So that's kind of impressive. Not a lot of people live that long. Usually you write a book and, you know, that's it. But that guy, he made it. He made it. Number 3, George Remus. This is the textbook definition of, hey, if you can't beat them, join them. And I get that. I respect that. George Remus was a lawyer defending Prohibition crooks, but like Saul Goodman, he said to himself, why cash bum checks when I can do much better than this? Heck, I can do this better than them. So that's exactly what Georgie did. He purchased a large supply of alcohol through a fake medical company. Then afterwards, he set up his own shipping company with his delivery trucks. And then he would send out his own delivery trucks out on an alcohol delivery, where he would then have his own goons rob said truck, his own truck, and then the truck would make its way to speakeasies or wherever they were needed, illegal businesses. Eventually he was caught and he got into some trouble. He lost a lot of money and it didn't look good. His wife left him, and after some time he saw her in the street and well, she didn't make it. He went back to court and they found him he was insane. They let him off, which is kind of crazy, even though it was in cold blood on the street. What a crazy story. I can't. Where's that movie? Where's that movie? Number 2, Al Capone, the king of bootlegging. I've talked about Capone in a few videos, but you gotta understand the impact this guy had. It's a rags to riches story, except the main character is a ruthless, merciless Italian-American gangster. He always thought of it as a simple service he was providing to the community, and while I can't begrudge anyone wanting a stiff drink after work, I don't blame you. Chris is probably gonna go home and have a beer after this. I'm gonna go home and have a beer after this. Right, Chris? Yep, so there you go. That's how it goes. I don't blame you. How can I? But it's the other stuff surrounding Capone that's really the issue at hand here. He smuggled in tons of booze every year and made millions, and did a lot of heinous things in between. Just remember, folks, if you're gonna start a criminal empire, make sure to file your taxes, because the IRS doesn't care if you're a ruthless criminal and violent, so long as you pay your taxes. Yeah! Number 1, Pablo Escobar. Who else? Besides Han Solo, nobody beats Pablo in smuggling. Maybe Conja Club, maybe them, I don't know. The kingpin of the Medellin cartel and lord of Colombian snow. Pablo got to start smuggling simpler things into his country. Electronics, luxuries, and just other valuables. He worked his way up to, well, the same stuff that made Milli Vanilli palatable in the 80s, and the rest is history. Besides being the richest man on earth at one point, his fleet of vehicles speaks for themselves. Boats, cars, a taxi company, helicopters, planes, submarines, all kinds of houses. Just, the guy owned a lot and had a lot of connections, especially smuggling routes. The DEA probably still has nightmares about him. Anyways, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for me today. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe here at Bumblebee. Yeah, baby. You want to see more of me? Come on, just hit the button. It's great, fun time. And if you also want to get the DEA nightmares, then check out my socials somewhere down below. Come hang out on my Instagram. Come see me on Twitch sometime. Have some fun. That is nice. I love you guys so much. I'll see you soon. Stay sweet, my little honeybees. Bye. Looking snug as a bug inside a smuggler's rug, baby. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that was kind of cute, actually. Saul? Anyway, Saul good? I need a lawyer? Amber Heard's lawyer? Hello? Anyway. I don't know.